Please take a moment to share the stream on your favorite platform or via text to let your friends and family know to tune in. If you have any friends that are in business or interested in starting their entrepreneurial journey, please be sure to share the stream with them as well. We plan to have a lot of fun during this premiere, so please feel free to grab a snack, take photos and/or videos, and share them on your social media to let folks know about your experience. Please be sure to hashtag Gyidi Premiere and tag us at Gyidi Designs on your platform of choice. All right, y'all, so it is time for us to have a recap. Let's go through all of the designs that we created from day 1, January 1st, until day 99, which was yesterday, April 9th. Take a look and enjoy. Hey there, everyone. My name is Cynthia, Akita, and I am a web designer and brand strategist here at Gyidi Design Firm. And I am so excited that you guys are here to celebrate our 100th design reveal with us. We hope that you will sit back, relax, grab a snack, or even eat your dinner and watch us design something new right in front of your eyes. So please take a moment and share the stream, take photos, take videos, and share it on your social platform of choice and let people know that this is happening and that they're missing out if they're not here. So I am going to tell you a bit more about my business in just a few moments, and so stay tuned for that. See you soon. Hey there. So once again, I do want to welcome you and say thank you so much for being here, for showing us some support. If you are new or, someone invited you and you're not really sure what's going on, I just want to explain that we are celebrating the culmination of our 100 Days of Design Challenge. And so from January 1st, we decided that we were going to design something new every single day and share it with you all. And today we are going to show you how we created the final design. And so that is what this entire premiere is all about. So once again, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. So please grab a snack and enjoy this premiere. So a bit about us. Gyidi Design Firm is here to inspire creatives to build strong brands of their own so that they can achieve financial freedom doing what they love. And so this is such a big deal for me per se, because I grew up, in an African household. And so in such a household, certain careers are seen as, more affluent or are more encouraged. And it was important to me that, I push people to do what they love, what God has called them to do, and to find a way to live off of that as well. And so that is the reason why I started the company. And, it's important to us that, we're helping you live out, the lives that God wants us to live, and to fulfill that purpose and to be that influence in the world that God desires of us. And so through our company, we get this done by creating digital branding assets through strategy-based designs in order to build a solid image that won't require constant rebranding due to lack of clarity. And so it's important to us that you get started on the right foot so that you don't have to go through that grueling cycle of, okay, I need to start over, I need to refresh in this or refresh in that because my goals were not clear to begin with. And so we do this through a number of different services. Here we have our brand strategy workshop, where we assess where you currently are in your business and where you would like to be, and kind of connect the dots and give you strategy towards, speaking to your audience, even identifying who they are, identifying who you are and what you would like to achieve, and so much more. So we're basically building a solid foundation through this workshop for your business. And so that is the brand strategy workshop. We also offer brand identity suites, and you'll see a big portion of that today as we are designing our 100th design. And so with that, it includes a brand strategy workshop just to get some clarity, and then we provide you with variations of logos. So you have your primary logo, your secondary logo, your mark, patterns, textures, typography systems, your color palette, brand guidelines to show you how to use your design assets. And the great thing about all of this is that here at Gyidi, we give you all of the original files. And so we want to make sure that you have everything that you need to represent your brand in the best light possible. And so it is important to us that we give you all of those files and allow you to have complete brand ownership. That is a very big part of our business here. We also offer web design services. We specialize in WordPress because it does allow you to have a variety of functions that some of the other softwares do not provide. And so WordPress is really where we shine. But if you do need help in other areas, talk to us, and we'll direct you and always be honest with you. And so another great thing about our web design service is that we teach you how to make changes to your website. And that's very important because we do not want you to be in the dark in any way, shape, or form. We know that it's important that you know how to operate your business without us. And so we teach you how to make changes to your website so that, whether you need to add photos, add text, add a blog post, whatever it may be, that you are equipped to do so. And that is all a part of our package in the web design service. And finally, creative services. So if you need templates, flyers, posters, marketing materials, whatever comes to mind, it'll probably fall under the creative services tab. And so feel free to contact us, visit our website at gyddesigns.com, and let's chat. Let's talk about your project and how we can move forward. So thank you so much for being with us today, and we are about to get started. So stay tuned. So as we told you, we had no idea what we would be creating. And so now it's time for us to play our very first game called This or That. And so let's see what our options are today. All right, our first option is Pillow Delight. Pillow Delight is a brand that creates bamboo pillows that promote full circulation and allow you to get the best sleep you've ever experienced. I'm sure a lot of us need that. And our second is Top Coat. This brand is geared towards female drivers who have little mishaps here and there. Top Coat sells a product that is made to look like nail polish. However, it is a body paint that conceals any scratches that may be present on the body of a car. Get a paint job without the high price. All right, so now it's time for us to figure out what project we're actually going to get. So let's let the system go, and it seems that we are going with Top Coat, which is the brand that is geared towards female drivers who have little mishaps here and there. And so with this brand, it is actually a body paint that looks like nail polish because it's geared towards females. And we are going to create the branding for that. Okay, so now that we've started, let's look at our to-do list. So first thing we're going to do is look at some inspiration. Then we're going to create a mood board to put our inspiration into something that is more tangible. And then we're going to experiment with typography and create the primary logo, secondary logo, and submark or logo mark. And then we're going to create a few icons and develop a brand pattern. And then finally, we're going to design the product package. So stay tuned. All right, so we're getting started with the design, and the very first thing that I usually do is to look at some inspiration. And so you'll find me on Unsplash, where you can get free stock photos. And typically I take a very deep look at the different type of photos that they have in order to create what you would call a vibe, or a mood for the project in order to give me some direction. I also visit dribble.com, where I can look at some projects that other people have worked on, either real ones or passion projects, and just see where, I would like to go with a project. Usually, because we do our brand strategy workshop beforehand, I have a lot of, personal information, business information, and just a lot of background info that I can really work with in order to create those mood boards. And so usually we create maybe up to 3 different mood boards with different color palettes in order to show our clients so that they can choose the direction that they really want to go in before we start creating the logo. And so here in this process, you'll just see more of me looking at different areas, just different pieces of information in order to see what I would like to do. And so with this brand, because it is a car accessory, if I can say that, I first looked at, some luxury cars, some race cars. Girls or females get, kind of like a reputation for being horrible drivers. And while I'm not one of them, I've heard a lot about things that females do, unfortunately, to kind of mess up their car a little bit, or maybe they have mishaps here and there. And so I thought that this would be something really fun to create, something that looked more like a nail polish, just so that, you could hide it in your purse. And if you have a little nick or a tiny scratch somewhere, you can just cover it up without having to go to the auto body shop. And so you'll see that I've looked at different nail polish products or projects. I've looked at painters. I also looked at, different car brands and some other things as well, which you'll see on the screen, just to give myself some inspiration for where I would possibly like to go. Google is a great place to search for photos, but make sure you don't use anything that you don't have the right licensing for. And so with mood boards, because you're not selling them, generally you just use whatever picture you find in order to create that mood or that vibe that you're going for. And so that's really what I did here. And then I also looked at some fonts. And so when you're dealing with auto anything, you want to kind of look for a font that gives you that feel as well. So sometimes with fonts that are related to anything auto-like, you'll see that they have some type of movement. Either they're slanted to promote that movement, to promote that speed that may be implied, or sometimes you'll see something a little futuristic, or so on and so forth. Different fonts as well as colors give a feel or an emotional connection to the audience that will be relating with it. And so you want to make sure that you take all of those things into account when you're looking for fonts, colors, photos, and just creating a mood board in general. And so in just a few moments, you'll see that I'll start working on the actual mood board. And so I've taken screenshots. I've downloaded a couple of photos from Unsplash. You'll see all the credits in the description down below. But you'll see that I'm putting all of these different things together, fitting them in a sort of a fashion in order to create something that I can look back at and say, hey, okay, is what I'm creating, going well together with what I've put together here. And so, as you're seeing on the screen, I am putting things together, just kind of fitting the photos around to see how I can organize them in a way that looks good to me. You'll see that I have some nail polish. I have different cars. And you'll also see that, once I'm done putting it together, that, I use that mood board in order to create a color palette. And while you'll later see that I don't use the entire color palette that I originally choose, I use bits and pieces of it because I later realized that, while I have my foundational colors, I do want to go forward with colors that are seen on body paint. So, how often do you see a teal car, or how often do you see a purple car? Maybe where you are, you see many purple cars, but where I am, I don't see very many purple cars. And so I did away with that color, and I just focus more on the colors that you're more likely to see on an actual car. And I had those as, parts of the color palette instead. So enjoy the rest of this segment, and I'll catch you on the next one. So it's time for us to take a break. When we return, we'll be working on our primary logo, secondary logo, and our mark. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. It's time to play Brandapy. Let's clear up the fog. On average, how many impressions does it take for people to remember your brand? A, 11 through 13, B, 2 through 4, C, 5 through 7, or D, 21 to 23? Find out after this break. Finally, web design you can actually edit. No one wants to be in the dark. Say goodbye to confusion. Here at Gyidi, we teach you how to make changes to your website because you deserve to know how to run your business without us. We use drag and drop software that makes it much easier to update your site to keep up with the changes in your business. Start your web design project with us today. What is a brand? Well, a brand is a term, symbol, image, or feature that allows one to identify one thing over another. So the key here is identification. So let's say we have some oranges. Oranges are natural products that were given to us by God. But you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between an orange unless you saw its packaging, most likely. Or maybe you saw a change in size, a change in color, whatever it is, you're not able to identify what company it belongs to without branding. And so branding allows you to position yourself in the mind of buyers. This means that they are able to have a specific thought or image about you in their minds. So, thinking about those oranges, maybe you're on a farm and you have a particular formula for harvesting the oranges at its optimal time of harvest, which gives it an amazing taste by the time it hits our tables. If that's what your goal is, maybe your brand is centered around that. And so people are able to identify that, hey, these specific oranges, let's say they're called C25. These C25 oranges are the best because they are juicy every time I buy them. That is branding. It's the thought that goes into someone deciding that they want to go with your business or not. And so branding includes when you take the product and the brand and create a cohesive bond between them. You take the orange and the concept behind it and create a cohesive bond between them. And that bond is created through visual assets like a logo, color palettes, patterns, typography, and whatever else is included, because those things help people identify who you are. And so that's just a small, simple introduction to what a brand is. Hey there, business owner. Are you ever confused about what to do in your business and where you're actually going? Well, I implore you to sign up for our brand strategy workshop. It's a service that's a 3-hour session that allows us to delve into what you do, how you do it, and why you do it through a number of fun exercises. We break down your business and build it back up with actionable strategies that you can use to appeal to your audience. We emphasize brand strategy because it is vital that you build a brand that truly reflects what matters to your business. We don't want you to have to do it twice, so strategy helps us build the right design foundations for you the first time around. Sign up today. which, how many impressions does it take for people to remember your brand? If you answered C, 5 to 7, you're correct. An impression is a metric used to quantify the number of views a piece of content receives. This means that someone typically has to see your brand at least 5 times, but definitely more, before they remember it. Okay, so now we have checked off 2 things. We created our mood board and we had looked at our inspiration to start with. And so now we're going to start designing our logo. All right, we are back, and in this segment, you'll see that we are actually putting the logo design together. And so you'll see me, copying and pasting a bunch of rows of text. And that's because, when you start out with typography, you want to see if you could make a few changes here and there to the actual line of text to see if things stand out. So for example, what I mean by that is, you'll see me make one of the O's capitalized, or make the P capitalized, or make all of the text capitalized, so on and so forth, because sometimes you could bring some emphasis by making certain things bigger than the other. And so, you don't necessarily have to make a logo just all, start with the capital letter and then the rest all lowercase. You can completely change it up because that's what makes a brand unique. It stands out. It's different from what others typically see. And so here I'm just playing around with different things. You'll see that I create duplicates a lot. That's just because if I do something that I don't like, I want to be able to go back without having to undo everything. And so you'll see that I make a lot of copies as I'm going on and on and on. But you'll also see that, I play with the different shapes. I tweak the rotation. I, play with the spacing a little bit, which is what you'll be seeing right now. But, I played around with capitalization and, rotations, all of those things, just to see what the outcome could potentially be. I had a hard time choosing what the main or primary logo would be. You'll see that I have the logo with the double drip or double raindrop or paint drip, whatever you want to call it. And then I have one that only has one drip. And so it was hard for me to decide between the two. I created some variations for both, but in this case, this is where you would really see, the CEO or the person in charge really decide which direction that they would want to go in. And so that's why, getting team input or getting, the owner's input is important. You don't always have the answers. And as designers, we don't always have the answers. And that's why, input is great for us. It helps us do our best work. And so I couldn't decide by myself, but if you know which one is your favorite, if you like the double drip, put an A in the chat box. And if you like the single drip, put a B in the check box. And let's see what you guys are thinking. You'll also see that I'm creating the mark or the submark or the logo mark, however you prefer to call it. I decided to just take a portion of that drip and the nail brush, if that's what they're called. I'm not completely sure, but you'll see that I'm taking that and just using that to create the submark. And so you'll see more of the submark in things like, your Instagram profile pic, your Facebook profile pic, your Twitter profile pic, in any area where you don't really have enough space to see the full primary or secondary logo in its entirety. And so you want to make sure that your logos are represented well in small spaces, big spaces, whatever it may be. The goal of it all is that your logo is represented well. It's time to play Brandapy. Let's clear up the fog. Color improves brand recognition by up to blank %. Is it A, 27, B, 80, C, 72, or D, 96? Find out after this break. Do you ever struggle with adequately describing what exactly it is you do? Do you ever get tongue-tied or confused about how to tell others how you help them without word vomiting? Struggle no more with our resource, the Purpose Statement Workbook. We walk you through an amazing exercise that helps you break down what you do, how you do, and why you do it with our 5-step process. Download it today for free. What is the secret to creating an impactful brand? The secret is you. We all go on a hunt to find the key to a successful brand. We try to copy what others are doing because we see how successful it has made them. But the truth is that they embraced who they were and blended that fabric into their business. The success you see is their personality that was given a chance to shine. The secret is not in what others have. It's in embracing who you are and the things that make you unique. Put your own spin on your brand. These days, brands that have a more personal approach are on the rise because people want to see you. They want to fellowship with you and buy a piece of your personality in every transaction. So don't shy away from the best thing in this world. And that's you. That's the secret. color improves brand recognition by up to, if you guessed B, 80%, you guessed correctly. When you think of Coca-Cola, what color comes to mind? What about Walmart, Sam's Club, BJ's? The list goes on and on. Consistently using your brand colors on content and marketing materials will increase brand recognition immensely. We are quickly making our way down our to-do list. And so now we're going to focus on creating some icons that we're going to use to create a brand pattern. And so this is going to be a big part of the design. So follow me and let's get going. So now we're actually working on creating some icons in order to create our pattern. And so here, because it is about the way people drive, and there's just so much fluidity in what that means for me, at least. You know, you have your slower drivers, you have your fast and furious drivers, you have the people who follow the rules to the T. There's just so many different parts of that spectrum of driving. And so I thought it was important to have, you know, some sketched out street signs and things that represent some of the mistakes we make. And so you'll see that I'm drawing, I don't even know what to call them, like kapow bubble things. I'm drawing a couple of road signs, and so you'll see, you know, that cone isn't looking so good, but I decided to draw it anyway just to see how it would turn out. I'm drawing a yield sign. I drew a road in the corner there. You'll see me draw a couple of other road signs as well, but those kapow bubbles are more so to, you know, say oops or uh-oh, and, you know, some of the things that we say when we make mistakes in our driving. And so enjoy this segment. You'll see that in a moment. I am creating now the pattern, and so you'll see that I am, you know, rotating things. I am, you know, changing the sizing of some things just to take up that space and make things look evenly distributed. I decided to make it that initial pink color to start off with, but in a few moments you'll see that I make some color changes as well. So you'll see the different colors that I end up choosing as my color palette, or additional colors in the palette. And so you'll see that it'll be the exact same pattern, but in the different colors, because I do want the packaging to reflect the color paint that people are buying. And so that is really the purpose of the different variations there. So it is time for another break. We will be right back. And when we return, we'll be actually designing the packaging. And so stay tuned and enjoy this commercial break. It's time to play Brandapy. Let's clear up the fog. Blank percent of the best brand names are made up words or acronyms. Is it A, 72, B, 33, C, 92, or D, 68? Find out after this break. Why is it important to have a target audience? Unfortunately, you can't have a brand that appeals to everyone. We are all created differently and have a wide range of needs. If you choose to appeal to everyone, someone will feel neglected and left uncatered to. Many times we feel that we'll be missing out on business if we create a focus, but the truth is that you'll be able to give the best experience to that focus group. And if others start to trickle in, you'll be able to benefit from them as well. If you spent an entire day in your living room and happen to lose an earring, would you start looking for it in your bedroom? No, because that's not where you spent time. You didn't spend time in that area. So view your audience in the same light. Spend your time in the area that is most beneficial for the success of the result you desire. There you have it. Finally, web design you can actually edit. No one wants to be in the dark. Say goodbye to confusion. Here at Gyidi, we teach you how to make changes to your website because you deserve to know how to run your business without us. We use drag and drop software that makes it much easier to update your site to keep up with the changes in your business. Start your web design project with us today. Blank percent of the best brand names are made up words or acronyms. If you guessed A, 72, you guessed correctly. The following brand names are all made up words that have become so common: Google, Kleenex, Tupperware, Crock-Pot, Chapstick, Play-Doh, PowerPoint, Slinky, Sharpie, Q-tips, Jacuzzi, and so many more. So now that we've created our logo, our icons, and our pattern, it's now time for us to put all of those things together and create the design for the product package. And so while this is the last thing on our to-do list, please do not run away. We do have a lot more in store for you. So watch us create this design and stay tuned because we have our winners that we have to choose as well. And we're going to do a brand overview to show you everything that we've created. So stay tuned and enjoy. Hey there, so we are actually designing the packaging right now. And so, that primary logo comes in handy. I decided to move forward with the single drip just for the packaging because I felt that it was, I don't want to say chaotic, but it was the simpler version of, the two options. And so I wanted to move forward with that. But here you'll see that I am changing the text just so that people understand that this is something for cars. I mean, it's not going to be sold in a Sally's. And so, people aren't going to get confused. But I did want to make it known that it is for cars. And so, it's important for us to read our labels, just to emphasize that this is not for your nails, this is not for your body, it's for your car. That's the most important thing here. And so towards the bottom of the package, you'll see that I am adding the color name so that people are aware, although they will see the color on the actual box as well in a moment. And then I'm adding the measurement. And so I just use the measurement that I saw on a nail polish container. So that's what I wanted to move forward with. You'll see here that in a moment I'll be adding the pattern, which is actually the really fun part. But right now in this moment, I'm actually looking for a dot. And so I look at the glyphs, which show the different variations of the font that you're using. And so if you ever wanted a stylized C and it came with your font, you would see that in the glyphs area. And so that's just a little design tidbit for you there to enjoy. So I didn't find the dot that I was looking for, but I did find one that I could manipulate. And so I'm changing the fonts from capital to the lowercase, and then I'm going to, make it into a shape so that I can move that dot down and actually make it a little bit bigger into what I was hoping to find in the first place. So now I'm adding the pattern. The great thing about this is that, once I dragged all of the different patterns I created initially into this document, it automatically adds into the different palette boards that are available there. And so I literally just have to click the button and it'll show up. And so you'll see that I added the pink version of the pattern, which will be the first one that we create here. And, I play around with the offset path of, the logo, because I do see that, the pattern is kind of loud. And so I don't want the logo or the text to get lost in that. And so you'll see that I'm creating a couple of borders around the logo, around the text, just to make sure that they're clearly seen. I don't want it to get lost in the background in any way. And so it's important for me that, there's at least some type of a white border around that so that, it's clearly visible to people. They don't have to strain their eyes to actually see it. All right, so now you'll see that I've gone ahead to add, the different colors or the different color patterns to the backgrounds. I just had to copy and paste everything. And so now I'm changing the names of the colors as well as the drip in the logo. I wanted to change that color as well to suit whatever color body paint the package will actually be, just so that, there's no confusion there. Like, the color you literally pick up is the color of the car that you are going to paint. And so I didn't want any type of confusion there. And so you'll see that I am going ahead to change the drip of every single logo to fit the color of the paint that people will be buying. All right, so now you'll see that I'm actually adding some cars as well to the packaging. Furthermore, to emphasize that this paint is for cars only. That is such a big deal because you do not want anyone to mistake your product for something else. And so I thought it was important to add the cars just to kind of balance out all the color, but also to emphasize the fact that this is for automobiles. And so I actually got these cars from the Noun Project, which is an icon store online. And so you'll see the different types of cars there. I rotated them to give them a bit of a spin that, you know, there's a bit of, you know, not so great driving. And so you won't see them straight on. They're all rotated in some form or shape. So once I'm done with all of that, I just go through to add that white layer or border so that it doesn't get too blended into the background, so that there's a line of separation between that item and the background pattern. And so you'll see me go and do that on every single car, one by one. And then once I'm done with that, I will actually save each label as a photo and we'll put it on a mock-up. All right, so as you can see, I've added the photo to the box, and you can see that box there on the screen. It has kind of like a matte finish to it, which is really nice. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this for each of the products, and I'll show you the final bit later on. So Enjoy this short mock-up presentation here, and you'll see the full thing in a moment. All right, so we have completed our to-do list. We looked at some inspiration. We created a mood board. We experimented with typography in order to create our primary, secondary logos and our mark. We also created a few icons and developed a pattern for this brand. And the last thing that you just saw was us designing the product package. And so it's time for another break, but when we return, we'll actually go through everything that we created, and we'll also be revealing our winners very soon. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. It's time to play Brandapy. Let's clear up the fog. 54% of consumers would like to see more blank content from brands they support. Is it A, photo, B, legal, C, travel, or D, video? Find out after this break. Hey there, business owner. Are you ever confused about what to do in your business and where you're actually going? Well, I implore you to sign up for our brand strategy workshop. It's a service that's a 3-hour session that allows us to delve into what you do, how you do it, and why you do it through a number of fun exercises. We break down your business and build it back up with actionable strategies that you can use to appeal to your audience. We emphasize brand strategy because it is vital that you build a brand that truly reflects what matters to your business. We don't want you to have to do it twice, so strategy helps us build the right design foundations for you the first time around. Sign up today. Hey, so if you're still wondering if branding is even necessary for business, I want you to understand this. You know, sometimes we struggle to understand that the lives that we've come to enjoy were only made possible by creatives and designers, people who stepped out of what they knew in order to create something innovative and convenient for another person. And so many times we fail to understand that design is necessary and it comes with a cost. Design shouldn't be cheap and it definitely shouldn't be free. And so in that same manner that we eat with our eyes, people experience our brands based off of what they see first before they move on to their feelings. So it's important that you recognize design for the impact that it makes in society. So ask yourself, would you buy your favorite brand name if they didn't have a logo or color palette that you liked? They wouldn't even be a brand name. Would you be able to identify a high-end pasta brand at the grocery store from a low-end brand? Design is literally all around you. And what we do as designers is vital for the lives that we live today, and it's vital for the strength of your brand. So please see the value in what we do and the branding elements that we create for your brand because they are important. So please book a strategy session with us and let us work on your brand identity suite today. Do you ever struggle with adequately describing what exactly it is you do? Do you ever get tongue-tied or confused about how to tell others how you help them without word vomiting? Struggle no more with our resource, the Purpose Statement Workbook. We walk you through an amazing exercise that helps you break down what you do, how you do, and why you do it with our 5-step process. Download it today for free. 54% of consumers would like to see more blank content from brands they support. If you answered D, video, you answered correctly. Consumers enjoy seeing content that is most engaging as well as interactive. Videos allow your prospects to either see how a product is used, a genuine reaction to what you're selling, a glimpse of your personality, and so much more. The need for video content is increasing each day, so be sure to jump on board. It won't hurt. All right, so we've done the work and you guys have seen it, and it's time for us to go through what we like to call brand guidelines. So brand guidelines, help you understand, the different assets that you have and how to use them and apply them in the real world. And so you'll see here something that we created just for purposes here today. Our actual brand guidelines are a lot more in depth and have a lot more pages for brand owners, just so that they have a deeper understanding of what their entire brand entails. And so usually we start off with some of the things that we discussed in our brand strategy workshop. And so your purpose, your vision, what your brand is about, who you help, your audience, and all of those things, your voice, your personality, all the things that make a brand a brand. And so you'll usually see that at the beginning of the brand guidelines. And then we get into, the designs that we created. And so you'll see the primary logo here. I included both designs that we created just because initially I couldn't really decide on which one I liked more. And so I usually explain. I probably missed out on explaining this, but I did create that drip to emulate what it would look like to take that brush out of the bottle and have the paint actually drip down. And so I incorporated it in a way that it blended well with the P, which is why you see the P a bit above the baseline as opposed to being right on the baseline and having the bottom of the P, which is usually called a descender, come below. And so that's really what that is all about. And so you'll also see the secondary logo, which takes up more horizontal space. Again, I showed both variations of that logo design as well as a tagline. And so you'll see those variations there. And then you'll see the submark, which I explained was just a portion of that drip and some of that brush as well for the small spaces where, people can't completely see the full logo. And so we have the typography as well, which is actually called Sarascript and Freud Regular. Those I got from Typekit, or Adobe's font library, if you want to call it that. And then next we have our color palette. So I explained earlier on that actually these 4 colors would be the main color palette, but the additional colors that we use for this brand would be body paint colors of actual cars. So you'll have, here we have Outer Space, which is that grayish deep, it's kind of like a gray and navy kind of put together. It's actually really nice. And I got that straight out of one of the colors on the photos in my mood board, which I actually did with all of these colors here that you see. The next is actually called Shady Lady, and I did not make up these names. They actually have names online. And so I just want to put that out there. I'm not calling anybody shady, but that's what it's actually called, Shady Lady. So that's the gray color you see. Mulberry is the pink color, and Well Red is the red color. And so next you see here our brand pattern. I showed the main one, which is the pink color. And so you see all of that. I did not put the icons here just because I used them all in the brand pattern. So you see the icons and the pattern all together here on this page. And then you'll see typically applications. So wherever you picture your logo, we would kind of put a mock-up of that here in your guidelines as well. And so you'll see the product here. And that's basically the overview. As I mentioned, A true brand guideline has a lot more pages, a lot more different categories and things that we cover. But I do want to emphasize here that here at Gyidi, we give you all of the files, the source files, and at least 6 more. So we give you the PNG, the JPEG, the AI, which is the Illustrator file. We give you EPS. We just give you so many different files because it is important that your logo is seen in its best light possible on whatever material it is being printed on. So for RGB, which is more for the digital space, anything that you see on a computer, we have files for that. And then we have files for CMYK, which is what you would see for something that's more so printed on paper, printed on anything that you will hold physically. And so it is important to us that we provide you all of the different variations that you need, just so that your brand is portrayed in the best way possible. And that is the most important thing to us. And so now it is time to find out who our winners are. So stay tuned. So it's time to pick our winners. Our first winner gets a free brand strategy session, and our second winner gets 50% off either a brand identity suite or web design services. So let's figure it out now. And our first winner who gets our brand strategy workshop is Jessica J. Congratulations. We will be reaching out to you. And then we are going to go on and choose our second winner. So let's see who gets it this time. Mercy A. Congratulations, you guys are our winners for today. And so we will be reaching out to you all and we'll get started as soon as you guys are ready. So congratulations. So we were feeling a bit generous today. Well, you know, with all of the excitement and all that we've accomplished. And so we decided to give a 10% off discount on either of our services to a third winner, and that third winner is Minerva B. So congratulations, we will be reaching out to you and we can't wait to get started. Hey there, it's Cynthia here again. I just want to say a very huge thank you to all of you guys for watching today, for following our journey for the past 100 days. It has been a very long journey and we are so excited that we could have shared this moment with you. Please feel free to refer us to anyone you know that is starting a business, who is already in business and is in need of design assets. We would love to work with them and to help with them with their projects. So this is the end of the road for today, and we look forward to having more premieres and sharing, you know, our creativity with you all. So thank you again so much. This will be available for you all to watch again. And so enjoy the rest of your evening and we'll see you next time.